Oh, there's Jack there already on there. But hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Pulse, brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. You just saw Jack Brangan there. He's going to be one of the guests tonight. I'm your moderator tonight, Damon G from the Jersey Shore podcast. Sorry we're a few minutes late. It's a lot has been going on. I'm sure everyone heard what happened in Minnesota. And we're going to dive deep into that and among other things in the show. But so basically the breaking news tonight out of Minnesota, an ICE officer shot a woman who allegedly tried to run him over with her car. The details are still developing, and we're just getting more in. And I want to be very clear. We don't know exactly what happened, who escalated first, or how this situation unfolded. But what we do know is that words matter and rhetoric has consequences. And you're going to see a clip from Tim Walz in the first segment as well, and why it's words matter and the rhetoric is a problem, and they have many consequences. For years now, Democrats and their media allies have told public that ICE is the modern day Gestapo. They encourage people not to comply, to interfere, to resist, and to treat federal law enforcement as the enemy. That kind of language doesn't de-escalate anything. It pours gasoline on an already volatile situation. So I'm going to, before I go talk about the rest of this, I want to bring up the first clip and we are only going to show this one time. I'll try to, my producer will try to stop and pause it to show everything that's going on, but we don't like showing stuff like this, but I think this is important. So you see, yeah, so you see there's a nice officer in front of the van or SUV, whatever it is, and he already has his gun drawn. I don't know if there's a moment where, if you look at the slowdown clips, you could see his gun drawn before the woman tries to take off and run at him, and then he fires at her and shoots, I think, once through the windshield and a few more shots afterwards. So it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, you know, we are all on the side of life, and we don't like seeing things like this. But it's just when you tell people that law enforcement officers are Nazis, you create a mindset where someone thinks it's justified to use a vehicle as a weapon. And on the other side, when officers are told they're under constant threat, split-second decisions become life or death decisions, and that's how you end up with tragedies, you know, regardless of who ends up being the aggressor or the victim. It doesn't matter. This is how it happens. So this isn't about defending bad actions on either side. It's about recognizing reality. You know, demonizing law enforcement while refusing to enforce immigration law is a recipe for chaos. And then when chaos happens, the same politicians act shocked while blaming Trump, blaming voters, blaming anyone but themselves. So I'm going to take you into our first segment. I had this segment labeled before I knew all this. It's basically Walz drops out. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to talk about the segment first, but here's our guest, Elana Barrett from the Base Mother podcast. So thank you, Elana. And then we can bring on Jack Brangan. Jack Brangan, who just recently ran for assembly in LD6, New Jersey. Thank you, Jack.
Yep. Damon, how are you doing tonight? And Elana, how are you?
Yeah. So now I was just about to talk, labeled the first segment. Tim Walz drops out and blames Trump, but that was about him dropping out over the fraud and not running for re-election. But this all changed the game, you know, what's going on now. So if you guys want, I'll play the first clip from Tim Walz, and then we'll go from there. We'll talk about it.
For Republicans here, I have more energy than I've ever had. I am committed to this state more than I've ever been. I love this state with every fiber of my being. I believe we are the best state. Have I been perfect in this? God dang no. I wasn't perfect as a teacher. I wasn't perfect as a coach. I wasn't perfect as a soldier, but I was pretty damn good at all those things. And I am committed to getting this right. And I will tell you what, if they think now, I mean, game's over for them now. It was all me. I was the bad guy or whatever. Well, put up or shut up now and tell us what you're going to do to make this state better. Answer these tough questions. Quit hiding behind this and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden. to
Ew.
make sure that you're doing your job. I'm asking for your help. We need data practices with the legislature right now. You need to expect to get every one of my emails just like you have when you ask for them. Every one of my commissioners, you should be able to ask for those, which you can do, and we need to do that. Here's the thing that I'm going to ask all of you is Republicans want to tear this state down. Republicans want to tell you it's too dangerous to walk down the streets. Republicans want to tell you there's nothing good coming out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Republicans want to tell you everybody with brown skin is stealing money or that they're not welcome here. They want to do nothing to improve this state. Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making the state better. So you'll get to see me more. The good news is on this is that I got no election to look forward to. I've been in front of you. I'll call on who I want to call on, and I'll watch what the press gets written, and we'll make sure that in this state there's full accountability for everybody. Because I buck stops with me. I'm accountable for this, and because of that accountability, I'm not running for office again. But I have a year to continue to improve on a record that I think will stand up against anybody's, a record that has made Minnesota better, a record that makes people want to come here, and a record that has respected not only the dignity of.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just we got another clip that we're going to play on. We'll talk about that one first. I played that one because this is before the incident happened in Minneapolis, and he's just blaming Trump for everything. He's resigning because of the fraud, and then he is spewing. He's putting out there that Republicans. That was the whole point of the opening monologue. Republicans are racist. They're blaming black and brown people, and it's the rhetoric that they keep putting out there. And so, Elana, I'll go to you first because this is the next clip. Our producer is getting ready, and I'm pretty sure it's ready now. So I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on what's going on here with Tim Walz?
Well, I was delighted when he decided to drop out of the race. Part of his statement of, obviously you said he blamed Donald Trump. He said, he has no responsibility for any of the fraud himself, which just in itself is, humorously and ironically an admission that he's completely incompetent. Oh, I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't know anything. Billions of dollars in the budget that you are responsible for are, you're seeing no results whatsoever. And no one is holding anybody accountable for anything. You look like a big halfwit, the big halfwit that you are. And so I just think he's having a really bad few weeks. I think we should put Tim Walz on suicide watch. I think that he's fumbling everything that's coming at him. He's saying the buck stops here, but really he's not. He's blaming Donald Trump and Republicans at the same time. His speechwriter is terrible unless he's doing this himself, which very well may be. He's a huge embarrassment to the entire party. And I shouldn't be enjoying watching him have such a bad time, but I just can't help it. I am enjoying it.
Oh, all right. And Jack, so I'll go to you. I mean, before we get to the next clip, when he says, I'm going to ride you like you've never been ridden before. I mean, that guy,
Hey.
Yeah, the weird stuff that comes out of his mouth with it's unbelievable. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll play the next clip, and then because that part's funny. At least we can leave with something a little bit funny. Hey, how you doing, Chris? so that's Chris Barrett. Everybody, just jumping on lady who's running behind. So all
yeah,
kinds of stuff going on.
sorry guys. I'm sorry.
No problem. No, we were just talking about Tim Walz. He said, I'm going to ride you like no one could ride before. But we're going to get to the next clip after this, which is more important. But I figured to start out at least something funny because it was a tragic situation that just happened. But, Jack, so what do you think about Tim Walz?
It's hard to measure how nauseating that 30 seconds was. I mean, it sounds like a man that is crying, I'm, in so many words, I'm innocent. Someone that's about to go to jail, that was just straight blather, really not saying anything. And the Bucks did not stop with him. The Bucks stopped in Somalia. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's sitting on anywhere between $9 billion and $20 billion theft of just the plundering of the treasury. And what's most amazing that he almost became vice president. And my question, wasn't he vetted by the Democratic Party when they vetted him? They didn't stumble on top of this. They certainly did. And I think at the end of the day, they're going to find out that some of this money is doing a boomerang back from Somalia back to the Democratic Party. And this was, the vice president's chair, I really think was a thank you to Tim Walz for all the work that you've done and brought in so much money to the Democratic Party that we're going to make you vice president. I really think it was a big thank you for him.
It may be.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to play this next clip, though. I'll bring it to Chris next. This is a clip that's appalling. It really is. It's basically Tim Walz. He just did this about 4 hours ago. It came out. I just found out about it before the show. So that's while we're a couple minutes late. It's basically him saying that he wants Minnesota and the National Guard to go to war with the federal government. I mean, everybody out there, listen for yourself. Let us know what you think, too. Message in the chat box and ask some questions, too. We'll be able to see it.
And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight.
There's more there. Looks like it froze.
Yeah. That might be back here.
What does that mean? Ready to use the National Guard? How is he going to order? Can he legally order the National Guard to fight the feds?
That's what he's saying he's going to do. And then, and Chris, I'll go to you first. You just came on. I mean, that sounds like he's trying to draw a line in the sand with the federal government, telling them he's going to kick ICE out and he's not going to allow this to happen. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying. This particular video is like totally new to me. Because I was not aware that this came out.
We all just learned about it like a minute ago too. So
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess the governor does have authority over their own National Guard. So, I mean, I guess technically he could do this, but why? I don't know. It just doesn't this seem like some sort of distraction over the bigger problem going on?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think Trump does have a card, or the federal government. They back in the late '60s when they were blocking the black girls from going into the Alabama colleges, Kennedy called up the Alabama, I think, National Guard, federalized the local National Guard. And I think there are certain circumstances that if they are met, Trump can take over the Minnesota National Guard.
Sure.
So, and he will be the commander in chief of that guard. I don't know exactly all of the conditions, but I know one is if Trump determines that they can no longer enforce federal law in that state, he can federalize the National Guard and take them out of Tim Walz's hands. And I think he might have a case there. If they're not able to execute the warrants, the federal warrants, he might be able to say, I'm not able to, enforce federal law. I'm going to federalize the Minnesota National Guard. It's going to be an interesting chess match.
I'll be right about
Yeah,
that.
I guess the thing is I suppose that's what I'm thinking here. It's like, okay, Walz could do this, but then Trump could probably override him.
Yeah.
So surely Walz knows this. And that's, I guess, why I'm feeling like, man, this sure smells a lot like some distraction or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Chris, I would say it's definitely a distraction because Walz knows that he's going to have the liberal media on his side, and it's going to blow it up. There's probably going to be riots in Minneapolis, and this could be a George Floyd thing all over again.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
everything falls to the wayside, and all the attention comes off of him. Elena, what are your thoughts?
I absolutely think this could be they're going to try to martyr this girl.
Mhm.
She's, a 37-year-old woman. She is married to a woman, and they have a 6-year-old daughter, or maybe it's a son and they call it a daughter. We haven't gotten that far in the details yet, but based on everything else we know about this girl, that is a real possibility. She seems completely deranged. They're going to try to martyr her. I do expect riots tonight. But I also think that he can do whatever he wants to distract from the fraud and all that, and it's not going to happen. We are like, the American people have become, I am seeing more and more, we are like a dog with a bone on this. We are sick of paying taxes. We have too much invested and watching our money burn and watching our money be stolen. And we're not going to forget, and we can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah. The Democratic Party is a sophisticated criminal enterprise at everywhere you turn. From Doge, when that was big money too. I think that was in the trillions, wasn't it? That they USAID. I mean, that was hundreds of billions. Anyhow, it was a
Yeah, it was a lot.
money
Yeah,
raised.
they were looking for the trillion, but yeah, it was a lot of money. And then, of course, the only ones that fought it were the Democrats.
And now it was traveled to America to set up a fraudulent daycare center. If we don't get perp walks out of this, Trump's in big trouble.
Yeah, we definitely need to, because I'm tired of things blowing up like this and nothing happens. No one gets punished for it. There's no consequences to it. The only consequences are the Democrats blow something up like this, and then the consequences are to the people because there's riots in the street and everything gets shut down. It costs taxpayers even more money. And I think the Democrats don't care. Now, listen, I'm not saying every Republican is perfect. I'm just saying our
Right.
my side is more on the fiscal conservative side, and they more on the moral side of things.
Yeah. I don't know if there's enough to this for riots. I think
They're dying to riot, though. They've been chosen, Jack. Don't you see it?
Oh, I know they want to. I don't know if they can get up enough public support to get a riot going. I could be wrong, but
There was a lot of people there that accumulated after the shooting. I mean, and that was still daytime. Those were still workouts. We'll see. I hope you're right. I want you to be right. I do.
yeah, I mean, it's missing the racial component, right? And we all sort of knew this was going to happen eventually, right? That somebody eventually was going to get killed. The way they've been acting. So I don't think I don't know. I just don't feel like there's that emotion. Most people probably side with ICE. I don't think there's going to be enough to get mass riots, but who knows?
Well, it's going to take a George Soros, funding to get people out there. Antifa may be whoever the next crowd of a group of people are.
I'd like to know if she was being paid. She should have paid demonstrator. That's another thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
So,
she was on the alphabet side, so that's another big thing for people. And
Right.
You're going to say, that she was married to a woman, she's lesbian, or she was they discriminated against her or something like that. Is it because they're going to find something, and maybe she had a hint of Spanish in her, or maybe she had a hint of great
Oh, they'll use
Latin.
whatever angle
Yeah,
they
they're
can.
going to use whatever it is, just to stir the pot.
Yeah.
I want to point out though, we're saying that, it was just a matter of time until somebody died, but people have already died. So we had that shooter who shot at the Dallas ICE facility. I think it was back in September or so.
Mhm.
And a detainee, an illegal alien was killed.
That's right. That's
already
right.
because of this leftist deranged violence. So now 2 of their own have died. They are not
Yeah.
going to continue to take this lightly.
Yeah.
Even though both times their own fault.
Yeah, I mean, think about if I'm an ICE agent, and this would never happen. Number one, if Biden didn't open the floodgates at the border. I mean, things like this do happen, but I'm saying that he amplified the danger for everybody. When you let 15, 20 million people into this country, and then Republicans get in office and they got to fix it and get them out, what do you expect that's going to happen? A lot of people are going to be mad, and then you have the media that gaslight it all the time. And I think it was 1,400% the tax on ICE and threats towards ICE since it's all started. I think it's even higher than that now. And Tom Huff even said, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to either one of the officers or going to happen to one of the people. Because if I was an ICE officer and I'd be on high alert, and you're going to have to act. That was a 5-second video that we just played. He had 3 seconds to react. His gun was already drawn, and then she just took off. And like you said earlier, how does he know that she wasn't going to throw it in reverse and try to back up and run over the other ones? You don't know. You have to make that split-second decision, and it's not right. It's not right to scrutinize. You can't second guess it. It's either you're going to.
If she had shot at him and missed, and was he supposed to just say, "Oh, she missed"? Like, he doesn't know that somebody's not going to shoot again. You neutralize the threat. She went at him with a car. Like I said earlier, like you said, could have just thrown it in reverse, gone after him again. It had to be neutralized. She didn't have to be in that situation. They didn't draw her into that. She should have been at home with her 6-year-old.
And she had plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to de-escalate. She didn't.
Yeah.
They say don't comply with ICE. See, if you don't comply with law enforcement, now even if they're in the wrong, you still have to comply because things like this can happen. So she should have just got out of the car, and they would have questioned her. And even if they arrested her, then you have a lawyer that you get and say, "Well, what did I do? Do I have to prove it?" But when you try to drive off and run somebody over and put their lives in danger, then things like this happen. So you comply with the law enforcement, no matter if you think you're right or not. You just have to, and not try to run them over either.
So the bullet entered the front windshield, which places the officer in front of the car, right? So there was no question he wasn't on the side or near the side fender. It entered the front windshield, and at that point, if he feels his life is in danger, he can defend himself. Even if maybe she was going to put it in reverse, it doesn't matter. If he feels as though his life is in danger, he can defend himself. And the car's a weapon. This probably happens every day to cops across the country. Somebody ramming them. There's nothing unique about this. So.
We see a lot of these situations. I mean, I've seen it in protests that I've been to, where these people on the left get themselves involved in something, just like this woman did. At least that's my reading of it is because there weren't charges against her or a warrant for her or anything like that. It just sounded like she was involving herself in something where sticking her nose into something where she didn't really need to be sticking it. So I've seen these leftists do this stuff. And it's always interesting when they break the law as a part of some sort of protest, then they're amazed and shocked that, they have to be held accountable for what they did wrong. And they're just angry about it and everything. And I see that all the time, I mean, I've had situations where I've had police officers come up to me and like, hey, you might want to tone this down or something. You could be starting something bigger here, whatever. Guess what? I'm like, hey, cool, no problem. I'll go ahead and go along with it. A leftist would be like, hey, F you, you
Right.
know.
So, well, welcome, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. I know Seth's been laid up on the couch or in bed, one or the other. He had the flu for a couple days. Buddy, I feel bad for you. You catch everything under the sun like me. Like I have a chest cold now, but I never got one you've gotten recently. So, but we played. I don't know if you caught it, but we played a clip from Tim Walz that we just found out about right before the show. Him basically saying that he's going to use his own National Guard and go to war with the federal government and block ICE. So we'll have to check it out. I mean, I don't want to replay it. It's a kind of a long clip, but you have to check it out. But that's basically. So,
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine a National Guardsman that would have to risk their lives for Tim Walz? Would you take a bullet?
no, actually, no. I'm not good. Good point.
This is where
You can say whatever you want today. Federal law, you can't trump federal law. If ICE and federal agents want to be in his state, he can't say anything about it. He can make all the speeches he wants. He can get on TV all he wants. Federal law trumps state law. So he's virtue signaling. Federal agents could literally arrest him for obstruction. If he tried to do anything, they could be arrested.
Yeah.
So it's like that lady that got shot by ICE today or not today, but tried to run over the ICE agent and got shot.
It was today, yeah.
I think it was yesterday.
That was today. You have
that's what we were talking about.
I don't feel sorry for it at all. I don't feel pity for her one bit. They're going to kill you. That's why they carry a gun. They don't carry it because it looks cool or because they pick up chicks while they're working or because it keeps them warm when it's cold outside. They carry it so they can kill people who try to kill them. And if you're in a vehicle and you use the vehicle as a weapon, that makes it okay for the police officer to use deadly force. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for anybody that screws the police and gets their wig split with a nightstick. I don't feel sorry for anybody that gets shot by the cops because they pull a gun on a cop. I don't feel sorry for them. And I'm so sick of them being made the victim. Like this lady, she was a great woman. She was a poet. I don't care. She was obviously an idiot. She brought a car to a gunfight and found out the car doesn't beat them.
Right.
She's dead.
I'm going to nominate her for a Darwin Award.
Darwin Award.
So, I mean,
sorry, it's not funny. I want to
police and the police.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I feel bad that I don't really have much sympathy for her. Like I feel a little bit guilty about how little sympathy I have. I do have a little bit, probably this much more than Seth. But I honestly do feel a little guilty about that because, I try to be compassionate to people. I feel bad for her in the sense that she was that wound up and stupid that she walked away from her child and her family to put herself in harm's way when she is not going to make a lick of difference. And now she'll make a difference, and maybe they'll have riots for her. Maybe not. We'll find out.
This is why I think what everybody's feeling here is what a lot of people in Minnesota are going to feel. They're going to feel bad for her, but I think they recognize that she asked for it. She was the aggressor. This is why I think people are hesitant here. This is not clean cut. And the same with the guardsmen. They got to be, if he calls them up, they got to be thinking, hey, this was attempted murder on an ICE agent. They may fall back on the recommendations of those seditious six, that this is morally against my, morally repugnant to my standards here. I'm not going to follow, Tampon Tim here.
Yeah. I mean, I have a question, Jack. I mean, you said this isn't clear cut. At first, the first video I saw, it wasn't. And then as I learned more and saw more, I'm like, this is extremely clear cut. And this officer acted properly. Did you mean what did you mean by?
Yeah, no, it
First
it
place.
is. It is clear cut. I meant that it's clearly attempted murder. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
mistake there. Yeah.
No, maybe I misheard because I can do
Yeah.
that.
Once I heard it was explained to me that the bullet went through the front windshield, which places the officer in front of the car. It's a done deal. There's not much more, not much of a defense that she can put up.
Yeah,
What I don't understand is how adults think they have any right to go to a crimes or an active arrest and try to interfere with the arrest and expect nothing to happen to them.
Yeah.
You're at the very least, you're going to get locked up for obstruction. At the very least, they're going to arrest you for that. If you put your hands on the police officer, contrary to what all these armchair lawyers on Facebook and X say, there are no rule books for fighting that the police have to follow. They can use what it's called escalation of force. They are allowed to use any force necessary to overcome the obstacle. We as civilians have to use step force. Like if you push me, I can push you back. I can't punch you. I can meet force with force. Officers can use overwhelming force to subdue the scene. So if you push an officer, by all means, he's allowed to use a nightstick across your forehead. He's allowed to tase you. He's allowed to mace you. He can't use deadly force because that's overreactionary. If you pull a knife on a cop, he can shoot you. So if you interfere with an arrest and you touch or threaten an officer to the point where he thinks, hey, you're going to kill me, he can kill you.
Yeah.
And nobody should be surprised by that.
Well,
Nobody.
I come from.
Like you just said, the bullet went through the windshield. It didn't go through the side window, it went through the front windshield, which means, like he said, the cop was in front of the car.
Yeah.
Right.
He felt threatened, and he did what he's allowed to do: shoot her.
I just you were talking, Elena, about like this amount of sympathy and stuff like that, like having just a little bit more. I mean, I come from a family of cops, and we have a whole bunch of them there, and just the stories that I've heard about how stupid people can be, and how because of their stupid actions they end up dead. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I just don't feel sorry for her. I'm like, okay, Darwin Award.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, we went long on this segment because I think it was more important to talk, and everyone was coming in, a little bit late, and we even started late. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll go into the next segment. About now.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Marshall, right?
So everybody, welcome back. Seth, after this, I know you got to go. So because I know you're only have a little bit left in you, but battling with the flu. So I'll go to you first after this. But this is like Venezuela, Maduro, and the reality of socialism. So it all segues kind of into we're talking about that one, the woman being stupid, and unfortunately getting killed, and ICE officer, her fault. She shouldn't have done it. But it looks like a lot of people like that look at the same thing. I categorize them the same way. They want socialism. And then they're all up in arms about what happened with Maduro, and there's such an hypocrisy of it. It's crazy. So I'm just going to play this first clip, Seth, and then I'll let it go to you.
Maduro, who I've met, is a dictator, plain and simple. The Venezuelan people need our support to recover their democracy and rebuild their country. I'll use sanctions as one of the tools for a comprehensive strategy that includes humanitarian assistance, international pressure, and support for democratic actors in Venezuela to force the regime to embark on the road to a free and fair election. We should be leading the international effort to confront the massive humanitarian crisis in Venezuela.
The Biden administration made a deal with Maduro. No one talks about this. He made a deal with Maduro. Here was the deal. Maduro asked that his nephews, convicted drug traffickers, be released from U.S. prisons. He asked that his chief money launderer, his money man, his bag man, be released from U.S. custody before he stood trial. In exchange, he promised to hold free and fair elections. He got the nephews back, the drug dealers. He got the bag man back, and he never did the free and fair elections. They stole the elections. They suckered Joe Biden. They're not going to sucker Donald Trump.
President Trump just announced on social media that Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, has been captured and flown out of the country.
And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, you know, if he says he's serious about something, he means it.
That's a fact, not a joke.
And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody. But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well.
We should be leading the international effort to confront the massive humanitarian crisis in Venezuela.
So, Seth, I'll go to you. Your thoughts on the hypocrisy of Democrats. If it was the bad orange man is the one that actually got it done, but since it was him, then everyone's up in arms. They're protesting the release the dictator when they call Trump a dictator. It's unbelievable.
And just to kind of sum up something we were talking about earlier, sympathy. If you're looking for sympathy between shit and syphilis in the dictionary, it's the only place you're going to find it. It's nowhere else in the real world.
That's
but as far as Maduro goes, man, it's the truth. But as far as this thing with Maduro goes, he wasn't president of Venezuela. He never stepped down after the election, so I don't know why they keep referring to him as the president. He was working for the drug cartels. There was an active arrest warrant issued for him in this country. It was not a military action. It was the service of an arrest warrant. The DOJ was involved. They're the ones that asked for the support. He was arrested. The warrant was served. He was removed from the country, and now he's facing trial. Those are the facts. They can blow it out of proportion all they want to. They can say, well, Trump can't do it. But yes, he can. The War Powers Act gives him the legal right to do what he did. So that's out of the, they can't say anything about that. And you're right. If any other president had done this, they'd have been okay with it. Or at the very least, they wouldn't have said anything about it. But since it's Trump, it's wrong. They're going to fight. Right. I mean, I live in Frederick, Maryland. There are people on overpasses with, no kings, no blood for oil. No, Trump is a dictator. No, he's not. You're just an idiot. You don't know the law. You don't know what's going on. You've heard somebody spew some bullshit out on CNN, and you're just regurgitating it. He did nothing wrong. Nothing. I mean, the people of Venezuela are dancing in the streets because that man's gone.
Yeah.
So why do they have to be upset if the people of that country are upset? That's what like I said, liberals are mentally ill. There's no other explanation. They are mentally ill. There's a problem with their brain juice or whatever.
All right, with that, we're going to play the next clip, and I'll go to you, Jack, after this clip.
Republicans divided about what the president's done in Venezuela? Let me be very clear. There is no rift in the Republican Party. Yes, there are some folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie who are quite skeptical of this. They are very much in the minority. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we just talk the GOP on the U.S. military ousting Maduro? Ipsos, 65% support, 6% opposed. How about the Washington Post poll? 74% support, just 10% opposed. If you look among 2024 Trump supporters, we're talking about 80% support. The vast, vast majority of Republicans are with Donald Trump on this issue. Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene are very much in the minority.
So there again, there's another one that follows that shows some more stats. So Jack,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, all the while, remember, he is delivering tons of drugs into the United States, and it's being distributed, in all of the major cities and whatnot. If he was a dictator that maybe wasn't a drug pusher and just minded his own business in his own country, we probably would not have invaded. But he's been actively hooking our people on drugs and killing them, causing death, families that are broken up, lives that are destroyed. He's waging war on the country. It's as simple as that. And so he's paying the price. And, the sweet thing is we get the oil. I mean, there were 2 ships that we captured today. And didn't they say 50 million gallons or something like that was coming to the United States? And
well, they were trying to make a deal for anywhere from 100 million to 150 barrels.
Barrels. Okay. Yeah.
And which in hindsight, I mean, it's good because we replenish our reserves, but there's, I think it's like over 300 million barrels of oil consumed around the world a day. I think the United States is like 50 million barrels. It's not really a lot, but it's something.
It's not a lot. It's symbolic.
Yeah, that's more.
That people say, because he's going to split it with America and the citizens of Venezuela. So
I didn't see any of them crying about it.
Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful thing. The other weird thing is the lady that has taken over. I heard today that she's been in cahoots with Trump for the last year. That maybe she's been in on this whole thing for the past 12 months. I don't know. This is.
I think she's got 2 guns to her head. She's got what's left of the Maduro regime telling her, here's how it's going to go down, and she's got the United States breathing down her neck. So she is probably she's having an even worse year than Tim Walz.
Yeah. I mean, and Chris, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I heard that the CIA had to sneak her out of the country roughly a month ago or so.
Yeah.
She went
the Venezuela thing, I don't know. I'm torn on it. Elena's probably seen my posts on it. I'm just going to say at first blush, guys, I am in that 6% or 10%. I generally do not support this. What I did support is what we were doing with the drug boats. That made perfect sense. That sort of thing. Obviously keeping our citizens safe from, things like fentanyl and stuff like that. I certainly want to do that. And I guess that's why I'm a little torn, because it's like, well, get rid of this guy and that'll probably take care of a lot of it. But, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is also that China is the largest producer of fentanyl and responsible for the most that comes into the United States. So are we going to invade China now? Are we going to depose them? And that's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer that. But so, I mean, that is, I don't know. I mean, if the oil wasn't involved, I probably would be less inclined to be suspicious of our ultimate reasons for going there. But because oil is involved, guys, it's like you say, even for your show, you're America first. I'm America first. And the thing is like, but I'm also not for America traipsing around the world, taking up resources and stuff like that by force and that sort of thing. And I don't know. I'm just a little torn on it. I'm always suspicious of the government, even if it's a guy that I support, and I do support Donald Trump. So don't get me wrong there. But I'm always suspicious of the government. And I'm just really
That's good.
thinking that ultimately this is probably about oil. Now, I'm not going to be one of those idiots out there like you were talking about earlier, saying no blood for oil and all that dumb shit. But, would like our country to have like a serious conversation about this, because it was like the stuff in Nigeria. And this isn't really a pivot, but I started thinking about that, because it's like, well, yeah, that's terrible that all these people are dying over there. But that type of thing is happening again in China with the Uyghurs. That's an actual genocide that's going on. Millions of people have died. And, what's the difference? Well, Nigeria has a lot of oil. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
suspicious.
Response. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can I just jump on real quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I mean, this is being framed as a law enforcement action, not an invasion. So, this guy is a wanted fugitive of American justice. So that was part of what how the capture is being framed. I think that I think that changes things a little bit. And as far as, why aren't we doing this with China or other places? I really am buying into the explanation that this is America first, because we need our hemisphere to be free of foreign influence. And Venezuela is an extremely weak spot with regard to that. And, now without getting into it too much, now we're having the Greenland conversation as a national security issue. And when there was a time when those things wouldn't have mattered as much, we weren't thinking about Greenland, but we used to be able to trust Canada, and Canada has become woke and weak. And I frankly don't trust their government anymore. We used to have all of Western Europe as our allies. They have allowed themselves to be overrun by third world madness, to the point where now you can be arrested in England for a meme that, hurt somebody's feelings, or, Paris had to cancel their New Year's Eve celebrations because the third world madness, has overrun and they can't control the crime. So our old allies that we grew up with are weak and out of touch right now. If we don't secure our hemisphere for ourselves, we're gonna be overrun. And we were well on that path with Biden and Harris, weakening us more and more by the day. So, for those reasons, while I don't particularly love that we have to do this stuff, I kind of would like to see, American preservation.
No, you're right. And we actually we're going to skip a break and go right in the next segment. And because you brought up the Greenland thing. So it's like Trump's Greenland stand and how it triggers Democrats as well. That was the next segment that was coming up. So we'll just roll right into it and skip that break. And then we'll just take a break in between the last segment. One thing about the Venezuela thing. All right. I didn't mind them blowing up the coke boats and all that stuff and peace through strength. But how much money does that cost? Every missile they got to send, the ships that are out there. There was over 150 aircraft that have to go in there and get Maduro. How much money do you think that costs the United States? So one thing about Trump, he said that he's going to reimburse Venezuelans and make Venezuela great again. I tend to believe that he's on that side of doing it because it's the heart of the deal. And he got rid of a bad guy, and I don't think Trump was very calculated. Same thing with the Greenland thing. But taking control of the oil in Venezuela is going to crush China. It's going to hurt them. And so instead of invading China, then you do it strategically in this way, and you make a deal with Venezuela and say, hey, listen, we're going to help produce your oil. We're going to make you guys rich too. It's the same thing he's doing in the Middle East, like making deals with actually actors that I wasn't even on board with and I questioned. But I think that's his plan, and I think that's what's going on. And I don't know. And I just think we need America back on the world stage and be. I know it's America first, but strategically doing these things are going to protect the United States.
Yeah. No, I get where you guys are coming from, and that's why I said I'm torn. It's like there's this kind of isolationist part of me, and to me that is like really kind of America first, in my mind. It's like, let's focus exactly on what's going on inside the borders of the United States, but and then strategically make deals with people for resources and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an evolving thing for me. I guess we'll just see. I guess that's it. It's not. It was kind of funny, some people like lost their shit on me and everything on X when I posted that stuff, and I'm like, guys, I haven't suddenly become some hippie liberal. My God, I'm just offering a critique.
Well, no, I critique all the time. I mean, Pete has been texting in the chat too. Pete questions Trump about the Epstein files and everything else. I mean, I question a lot of things Trump does, but Jack, I'll go to you. I mean, I think America First is different than being isolationist now. You can't really, because the world has got a lot smaller, with technology and everything else. So you need to be out on the world stage in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, there is some justification for taking the oil fields. They were built by U.S. companies 20 years, 25 years ago. These were, legitimately, legally belonged to these refineries were basically American refineries that had contracts with Venezuela. And I don't know if it was Maduro or whoever was before him just came in and took them.
Chavez, I believe it was.
He kicked everybody out basically and took them over. So, so there's billions of dollars lost there by U.S. countries. So I just think the world is safer when America is running things. And I sort of get it. On the surface, it does look like colonialism going on here. But it's colonialism for the better, I think, for the good. It's a little bit like Britain and India. If you go to India, every place where you find the British, where the British were in India, it's beautiful, and the quality of life is better in India. I think the quality of life is going to get better in the long run for the people in Venezuela, and that this, there's some good moral and ethical justification behind doing this, but we're not going to see it for a little while. It's only hours into it. But I think in the long run, Venezuela is going to be really the big beneficiary of this. Not the United States. It's going to help us. But that country, when I was growing up, it was one of the richest countries in the world. I mean, it was right there in the top 5. It was a luxurious country, and it's just been destroyed like socialism always does. And the same thing with Cuba. Cuba was the jewel of the Caribbean. It was a high-flying place, and now it's caught in time. If you see pictures, it looks like it's 1958. All the cars are of that same era.
And they have cars older than you over there.
Oh, maybe a couple, a few. But I recognize they're the cars I grew up with, right? And Cuba's still driving around with them. They're in a time warp, and that's what socialism does. And the people in New York are going to find out real quick. That's what socialism, the warm embrace of socialism is. It's got icy cold hands. We're going to find that out very quickly.
So since we merged these two segments together, there's 2 more clips left. So we can roll both of them and just showing basically where the American people stand and where they're at, and Republicans, and then the American people as well. From CNN, from Fox, but it is CNN talking about the same guy. So we can.
And it is the same iron grip that he had 6 months ago. I know every so often people are going, I spot these little rifts in the Republican base. They're finally starting to break. They're starting to break from Donald Trump. It ain't happening, at least when it comes to the approval rating. Look at this. 84% 6 months ago. 85%.
And then there's one more that follows this. this was about the.
It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations. And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up to this point, as a successful one, and therefore the support.
So the point of those clips were just to show, and I really wanted to pick CNN, of course, without anybody.
Right.
They are always against everything, Trump. But it just shows that it is working. We're not really losing any Republicans under Trump. But people do, the support is going up for what happened with Maduro. The support is going up with Greenland because we're offering to buy Greenland. We're not looking to take it over. We're asking to buy it. Now, are they going to make him? Well, if Trump's going to make an offer they can't refuse, who knows? I don't know how it's going to go down. But, I mean, it's a very strategic place to be a part of the United States because of where it's located. So what do you guys?
How many balls is this guy juggling in the air?
I don't know how he does it. I mean, I do a lot. You know, I got 2 kids. I got a full-time job, the podcast, and the radio show, and
something's going to happen with Panama, the Panama Canal.
He's like, he doesn't sleep. So
yeah,
he doesn't sleep, and he's surrounded himself with highly capable people who are
really a dream team.
Passionate about saving this country. So passion can drive a lot of change. Just as look at how passionately Kamala and Joe destroyed America and just did things that, you know, broke every law that they could as quickly as possible. They did so much damage. Damage is easier to do and takes less skill. Lucky for them because they don't have any political skill. But you know, these people are skilled and passionate. So that's how he's getting it done. I mean, sometimes I'm feeling like I'm a little hard on them. Like I want to see more happen faster. You know, we talk about accountability for all the people that have broken all these immigration laws, you know, the harboring, the aiding, the abetting, the transporting, the fugitive, you know, the illegal aliens. And I find myself getting frustrated, but then I see what's going on with the fraud. And I'm like, I wonder if maybe they're just going to indict them all on fraud first and then hit them with the illegal alien crimes. And I'm hoping, you know, that fantasy becomes reality and that there's a bigger strategy. And any disappointment or criticism I had of the administration, you know, I apologize for later.
Yeah.
I wish they would focus on January 6th.
Oh,
no, because that's just going to fester.
I think it's over. I think the statute of limitations passed on that, didn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
so they can't go after any of the people on the panel or anything?
I think it's over.
Yeah, I think it's over. And with that, we're going to take a break and go to the last segment because you brought up January 6th, and that's about the last segment. So.
The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Shared on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. Shared on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Did we lose Elena? I don't see her on there, but maybe she jumped off for a second, but welcome back to the last segment here. Segment 4. This is the Democrats beating a dead horse, you know, on J6 Vigil. So there she is. She's back. So they're beating a dead horse. It's time to run on some policy for once, and instead of the bad orange man, even though it has worked for him in the past, the bad orange man, and it worked in New Jersey, worked in Virginia, worked in New York in the last election. But I think at this point, you can't go to that well anymore. So you got to come up with policy. So I'm going to play this first clip and make fun of these people for their vigil for January 6th.
We are here today because we must never forget what happened on January 6th, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, a vicious mob tried to undo American democracy. Thousands of rioters egged on by.
He goes on to say egged on by Donald Trump there. So I'll go to you, Chris, on this one. Now,
Okay.
I mean, is enough enough? I mean, there was so many FBI agents there that were egging the crowd on.
Okay. The thing is
And it wasn't great. So I'm not saying I'm condoning it. I'm just saying it's like it's
no, I mean, what happened on January 6th, I mean, was not like, obviously the right thing for the crowd to have done. But I mean, first, let me just like kind of break this down a little bit. Here's something that I really love about Democrats. They always talk about American democracy nowadays. I was recently listening to Harry Truman talk. I'm a Missourian, love Harry Truman, totally. I think he's great. He was a Democrat, but here's the thing: he always referred to the American Republic. He never talked about America us as a democracy because we're not a democracy, pure and simple. So I hate the fact that they talk about that anyway. That kind of unnerves me. And so I mean, their whole premise, just basing it just on how they see the country, is like already off. I think that this is just nothing but a political show for them. And that's exactly all this is. They're just trying to remind their base that, the orange man is dangerous and we can't trust him and blah, 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 and all this type of crap. And I think that, obviously Republicans have moved on. To be quite honest, even a lot of the people that I know on the left have moved on. I mean, the Democrats are really beating a dead horse with this thing. I mean, they just truly are.
I want to be in the meeting where the genius presented the idea of the candlelight vigil. Like, I want to know who came up with that. Guys, here's what's really going to work. Like you said, nobody's coming up with policies, any good ideas. No one's trying to win the American people over. But listen, I got this candlelight vigil, like a madman marketing, it's so embarrassing. And who then said, kid, I like this. I'm going to take this to Chuck Schumer and see what he has to say. And he ate it up. What this is who they are. Like, that really happened. That actually went down in some form. And we're sitting here about it.
Well, I mean, the thing is regardless of what happened on January 6th, the process was going to move forward. It's not like there was this threat, as they said, to American democracy. It's like, okay, maybe they would have at best delayed finalizing the certification of the election. Whoop-de-effing do.
Jack, it's like there wasn't like an army that was.
No, but just remember.
It was a bad thing, but it was a bad thing, definitely. Sure, they got out of hand, they broke it. It was I don't condone it at all. But they didn't march on there with weapons. So
no,
yeah.
But we should remember, keep in mind, Ashley Babbitt was, I would say, murdered. Whatever the circumstances were, I think it was worth a trial, which never happened. I think they should have. There was another woman, I think, was either trampled or roughed up, and then she ended up on the ground and then had a heart attack, because of what was going on with the police. I mean, there are a couple things there that I think are worth taking a good hard look at, because I hate seeing this stupid stuff going on with the candles and the people. It's going to go on forever, until we. And how many FBI agents were there? Why aren't we finding out the details? What role did Nancy Pelosi have? Why aren't we finding out? And how dishonest was this panel? This is what I mean. We elected Trump to take care of stuff like this, and it's not happening.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know they're definitely FBI agents there, and I'm not going to be Jersey sure about this one, but I think there was close to 80 at this point that they were talking about, or
we never seem to get any
confidential informants too for the FBI as well. So it was somewhere like 80, but you never want to know. But we just know that they were there and they admitted that. So
I mean, did Nancy Pelosi actually turn down the request from Trump? I mean, these are important questions, all of which led up to that could have avoided the whole thing. They found the pipe bomber, but did it move the ball forward here? What I know it's bad what he did, but how did that relate to January 6th in general? Was he just an independent guy, putting bombs out there, or was he a co-conspirator, or what? I just wish we would get clarity on it. That's what it is. That's all that people want is clarity, and we're not getting this on a lot of stuff. Epstein is another one. We're just not getting it.
I don't think you ever will, unless you want to run for president and win the election, and then you'll find some stuff out. But that'll never happen.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
That's not gonna be. It's not my wheelhouse. But
yeah, I can't even get into the assembly.
I'll give you all some advice. Don't run for office. You'll lose all faith in humanity.
David, I might want to tell what's up.
I happen to be running for office. I'm running for Congress in District 1 in Jersey.
And I just suspended my campaign.
I know. Well, see, with me, I'm in construction, so I'm hard-headed. Sometimes I can be stupid. Sometimes a little crazy. But I don't like to lose, and I got 2 young kids. So
yeah, no, it makes sense, and God bless the people who are actually willing to do it. And I still would have continued doing it. My reasoning was more health related stuff, but it's kind of interesting what you find out. So when you said that about run for president and find out exactly what happened, it is amazing what you find out just from running, and I mean, we've got a lot of work to do to bring back real faith and trust in our government. Now, we're stupid if we ever totally trust them, but at least bring back some sort of basic trust. And I think that Trump has made some moves in that regard. But Jack, what he was saying, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I get that. It's like there's so many unanswered questions about so many different things, and it's not it's not helping with trust in this administration.
No.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, but I always got to say it the way I always say it. My favorite quote from Emmett Burke: "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." So maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. Running in a D10, but I'm still going to try. So
go for it, man. More power to you for sure.
We want good guys in Congress like Damon. So
yeah, absolutely.
And Jack, he's not throwing. He's not giving up either. I won't give away his age, but he's almost.
No, I got it.
But he's this guy. He's. I can't believe the amount of stamina he has. Must be the right.
There are very few benefits of growing old, believe me. But I'm going to see my 6th grandchild on leaving tomorrow or on Friday. So that's the benefit. So
nice.
Number 6.
All right. Well, we're a little over time. There's one more clip to play, so let's just roll this clip, and then we'll wrap it up. For the night.
Congressman Donald Crutz here at the Capitol, where we just stood with members of Congress to remember 5 years ago the insurrection where those rioters literally took over our nation's capital. But what they didn't do is take over who we are as a country. I literally couldn't believe what was happening. I never thought it could happen in our country. And to be egged on by the President of the United
Come on.
See, Same thing. I don't know if you noticed, Chuck Schumer was about saying it, but like going by the president of the United States, they have the same messaging. That's Donald Norcross. That's going to be my opponent, and the one I'm running against. And
is that who that was?
Yeah, it was Donald Norcross. So,
that guy is who you're running against?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I throw it out there because he's still stuck on the January 6th. And he talks about insurrection. He could give a shit about any of that. He
can't spell it.
Yeah.
It was just that was bad acting. Like,
yeah, I know. I want to if I ever get a chance to debate him, which he would never debate.
I don't know, Elena. I did have a little tear in my eye.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it from here. Yeah. You're a softie.
But I call him Fredo. For anybody out there have seen The Godfather, Fredo he's got brothers that are very wealthy. He's wealthy as well, but brother George is very wealthy. One of the most richest families in the country, and the richest family in the state of New Jersey. And so again, I'm not the glutton for punishment, but I don't care. I'm going to run out.
I just got to say, these people with all their rhetoric around it, God help them if they ever saw a real insurrection. I said that on day one. The first time I heard the word insurrection to describe that, I said they would, like the way they cried over this. Could you even imagine if there was a real one? Please.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, these people entered the Capitol building and they were staying within the ropes, as they went into the rotunda there. It was, what a joke.
I mean, I was kind of like politically homeless back when that happened. I just wasn't really sure exactly what to do. But even then, when they brought up that term insurrection, Elena, I was like, this is absolute bullshit. This is like such bullshit. It's like, this is not some third world insurrection. Yeah. My God, this is a protest gone wrong.
Yeah. I've seen an insurrection. I mean, I'm from Philadelphia, and when the George Floyd riots were going on, it was crazy. I just send my wife and kids to New Jersey to my in-laws' house and stand there and protect my house. And I slept on my couch with my shotgun. I mean, every store was closed, boarded up. I couldn't get diapers for my son. I had to go to Delaware or New Jersey. I mean, the formula, all that stuff. That I'll call that an insurrection.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they set a church on fire in Washington, D.C.? I mean, that looked like an insurrection to me.
A police department somewhere got burned down too.
No, an insurrection in Portland, Oregon. They had an autonomous zone where they just took over the police station, took over the whole area, and had guys with guns there, and it was an autonomous zone. I'm like, what? How are we allowing this to happen?
Yeah, we had the Summer of Love in Seattle where they took over another zone, right?
Yeah.
That's one where a couple people got killed.
Yeah,
that was insurrection-y. Yeah.
This is the thing, though, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with, like, where I've been involved in protests and stuff like that, and watching the leftists and the way that they interact with authority figures and stuff. And, they really do have it in their head that they're free to do whatever the hell they want to do, and Seth, when he was on, he was saying something about it, like their brain juices aren't working well or whatever. And I mean, I think that's it. I mean, we see some parts of authoritarianism and stuff like that on the right, and I certainly don't appreciate it, but it's like they're all little wannabe dictators.
Yeah, they are.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, everybody, thank you very much. Anyone that's listening right now, thank you for joining in. Damon Gallo was moderator tonight from the Jersey Shore podcast, brought to you by Great American Sports Network. So make sure everyone likes and subscribes. But I want to go around the room and you guys let people know where you can find us. So are you, Elena, the Based Mother?
Yeah, you can find me on all the usual places: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the rest, YouTube and Rumble at the Based Mother. Thanks for coming to hang out tonight.
Yeah, and guys, you can find me. I've switched my username from my campaign username, which was Barrett for Mo, back to my funny username that I had on X, which was Midwest Homo 77. So Anyway, so I'm back to that, and then you can just find me as Chris Barrett. Just do a search for Chris Barrett, Missouri, and I will come up on Facebook.
Jack?
Yeah, at Jack Brangan on Facebook and at JXBrand99 on X.
So, and everyone already knows where to find me. You're going to see it after this. Actually, go to votedamongallup.com. We need all the help I can get. So, going up against the juggernaut here in Donald Norcross. But like I said, everyone, I'm going to fight like hell. I'm going to try. And this isn't Vegas. I didn't come to lose. So,
there you go.
All right. Signing off, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.